It was a young diplomat's reception, and two attendees outside were shot. Someone ran up to them and shot them. And then he started chanting Free Palestine, and then they got arrested. That's basically the story. So
That's a false flag operation, Lonerbox. Don't you know? Don't you know how false flag that
you can
is?
tell that there's a lot of discourse emerging now where basically all the people who knew stochastic terrorism and understood it as a concept very, very
Dude, don't you know Hasan would never promote terrorism? He would never promote like radicalizing extremism. He would never promote this kind of stuff, okay? So I don't even know how you could possibly tie it back to Hasan, okay? Hasan would never, all right? Hasan does not endorse radical actions, except for the times in which he said, "What do you expect Hamas to do? Sit around and do nothing except rape women?"
very, very well.
Loner is alright for the most part. I just don't take anything those guys say on women seriously after the Destiny thing, lol. Wait, what do you know of Lonerbox specifically? Like, again, like, me and me and Lonerbox, okay? Alright, listen. Things happen, alright?
Are suddenly completely oblivious about it. They have no idea
Okay, stop. Don't take it like that.
how there could be any kind of through line. They have no idea how there could be any kind of through line from, you know, saying that Zionism is Nazism. Anyone who is even slightly Zionist should be treated like a Nazi. They can't even be the local dog catcher.
No,
And
Buckle, no.
what did we do with Nazis? Well, we killed them. We murdered them. Well, we didn't even murder them. We killed them in a war. And the ones who survived, a lot of them were, you know, some of them were thrown into re-education camps. A lot of them faced like prosecutions. Like the way you defeated Nazism was by invading the country. And like nowadays, Nazis are like outcasts, like they should be. They're socially outcasts. So if you think this should happen to Zionists or anyone you perceive to be Zionist, because the definition of Zionist is so loosely defined to basically mean anyone who has even the slightest
I just mean them all being one-sided after time all went down. What do you mean? Like, what do you mean by one-sided? What do you mean by that?
sympathy for Israel or the Israeli people, then they would come under that hammer. The problem is that also encompasses the majority of Jews in the world. It actually encompasses the majority of Jews in the diaspora as well. And then people say, oh no, but how could you conflate Zionism with Judaism? It's like, well, most Jews do that. Most Jews, like, most Jews would cross the threshold for an extremist to call them a Zionist with the things that they say and believe about Israel. So, I mean, not particularly surprising that that kind of rhetoric might have consequences. Now, again, people want to talk about making arguments for who you blame or like whatever else. The argument I would make is it doesn't matter. Same as what you would make with Christ.
They all like blacklisted Destiny all over that drama stuff. Well, I think Destiny himself doesn't really want to. He himself doesn't really want to do things just mainly because he has a court case going on and he doesn't want to compromise his opinion. Sorry, his position by being like ambushed or something. I'm sure. No. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's like not trying to talk to people on purpose, right?
Church. It doesn't matter who he was watching or what he was reading before he carried out the attack. What matters is not results-based analysis for this. It is what is the rhetoric and what would the rhetoric logically lead to. So if you look at the rhetoric and people are saying that
they all shit talked him, I know why Destiny isn't. I mean, it's really hard not to shit talk Destiny, right? Like in that specific case, no?
they think Zionism is Nazism and we should use violence against Nazis, like punch Nazis, kill Nazis. Anyone who is slightly sympathetic to Israel, we're going to consider a Nazi. What's the logical conclusion? Well, you either socially outcast them at the minimum, or you assault them, or you kill them, right? Like that's kind of where that leads. Fortunately, most of these people are politically useless, so they're never really going to act on any of their political ambitions beyond being annoying on social media. That seems to be the only talent they really have. But every now and then, someone's going to step out of the woodworks and do something mental. You know, we had our Aaron Bushnell setting himself on fire after Reddit posting about how October 7th was justified. And then now we've got another one here. So it's just... By the same token, no one blames Hamas for... in October 2023, shortly after October 7th, I think a Palestinian child in America was murdered by a racist white dude. Uh, sorry, but I don't recall anyone blaming Hamas for that attack, or at least no one on the left, and they're right not to.
Hmm.
Right wingers might try to say that. They might try to blame Hamas for it, but that's stupid. When you see acts of like violence and racial discrimination and targeted violence,
Because for that, they should wait for how the courts, how they preach for everyone else. Well, I mean, the courts would not matter all that much, right? If that makes sense. Because whether or not the court determines destiny to have won or not, um, it shouldn't affect your moral conviction, right? Like you should still take a moral stand, even though like the legal could lean one way or another. Like I could see a future in which Destiny, gets fucked over by his court case, even though he's been bashing Pixie, right? Like Pixie's court case thing. But I can also see a future in which Destiny wins because everything he said was correct, and everyone goes, "Oh, see, Destiny was telling the truth about the court cases the entire time." Well, that doesn't really matter, right? Because what matters is in the end is the information that's been laid out, the information that's been given, and acting upon that information with your own moral system, right? Well, she's outed herself on the money thing, haha. Yeah, I mean, like, it seems as though Pixie doesn't know what the fuck she's doing, right? Like, that's what it seems to be like. However, obviously, the reason why I don't cover the Pixie legal shit is because, like, I'm not entirely sure what the fuck I'm supposed to say here. Like, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not like anybody like that. So, I got to be careful with what I say about legal shit.
you blame the perpetrators and the rhetoricians who say things that would lead people to that conclusion. That's who you blame. You don't blame ISIS for Christchurch, right? You don't blame you blame, or Islamic states that do problematic things. You blame the perpetrators and the rhetor.
Like Miskiff won his court case, but he surely did bring up some fucked up stuff. I'm sure, and here's the thing, okay? I still think that, they covered stuff up. I'm pretty sure he still sent Maya Higa to go and talk to Adriana Lee to make like a doctored version of a Twitlonger, right? And yeah, it's still a very fucked up situation, and I still can't view Miskiff the same way anymore, right? Well, I mean, I never really viewed Miskiff the same way, but it is what it is, right? I can understand Stanford that, but all to shit talk and blacklist and all that's foolish. No, it's not just blacklisting. No one is talking about blacklisting Destiny, okay? Like, I think, dude, I, like, wasn't it recently that Rob Nord literally called Pisco a Destiny orbiter or something like that? Like, people still think that this is the case, right? Like, I don't know,
And
dude.
the rhetoric that inspires those perpetrators. It's how I'd put it, but So is Hamas to blame for this? I'm going to say no. For this particular thing, apart from the fact that they talk about spreading the intifada and all that shit, maybe. But, this was the event that they were attending, the two people. So I think one guy, the guy was a Christian with a Jewish father, right? The Christian Zionist with a Jewish father. His girlfriend, who he was about to propose to, she was a Jew, right? She was an American Jew. This is the event they were at. It was called the Young Diplomats Reception because they worked for the Israeli embassy. We are excited to invite you to the annual AJC
Well, I know from Hutch that Papa Gut guy I'll have. Oh, I don't know about Papa Gut. I don't know about Hutch, though. But yeah.
Access Young Diplomats Reception on Wednesday, May 21st, sorry. This special event brings together young Jewish professionals 22 to 45 and the DC diplomatic community for an evening dedicated to fostering unity and celebrating Jewish heritage. Join us for heavy appetizers, cocktails, conversations, and a special guest speaker. So I don't really know if there's any specific targeting that was taking place of any individuals. I think he just went to this event because I don't even know why you would choose a young diplomats reception hosted by the American Jewish Committee. I think attendees were also from there's like the Multi Faith Alliance, it's called, and Isra Aid was one of the nonprofits. Isra Aid, which is a dumb name, but okay. And apparently also there were non.
Papa Gut is another left-leaning creator. I'm sure he would agree with like 95% of what you think. I have seen some of Papa Gut's content before. I have tuned into several of his live streams. He seems pretty okay. Like he's not like controversial or anything like that. He seems like a very like normal person-ish kind of
profits on
person.
humanitarian diplomacy
He's not too
from
bad.
the region. And they were working together, in their own words, in response to humanitarian crises throughout the Middle East and North Africa. I believe also, this is what the BBC said, the event was billed as a networking opportunity to bring Jewish young professionals and the
If you're the shooter, okay, if you're like a pro-Palestinian, I just don't really quite understand why you would cheer on actions like this when you pretend to be like pragmatic about things. Like if you really believe in pragmatism, um I just don't get like what you're trying to aim, in terms of like shooting up a fucking venue, right, for diplomats to Israel, right? Uh, like not gonna lie, a lot of these people are probably really sympathetic to, the Palestinian plight, right? Like a lot of these people are unironically like pro-Palestinian, no? I don't like there are plenty of Jewish people who are like that, right? But the thing is that they're not going to be crazy like Hasan. They're not going to be crazy like the shooter. Um, but like they're sympathetic to both, right? That's what a young American Jewish or Zionist people like actually think. But obviously, the way that people kind of like perceive things is just like, oh, once you're a Zionist, you're always a Zionist, and nothing will ever change that, and therefore that makes me justified in killing you or something. He also kept making AI videos of Nicholas kissing someone. Oh, I saw that. It's funny. To be honest, I think people that support this can do nothing wrong. Um, I mean, they're typically in the group of people that really does do nothing wrong, you know? They're just mad, I fear. Hassan is not a communist factory. He is a nihilist maker. Yeah, 100%. Like, by the way, I just want to say this, okay? If you actually want to have a good leftist revolution, if you actually want that to happen, you need to be able to motivate people. You need to be able to get people to move and to work and to, like, be proud of something that they make, okay? You have a lot of like young communist people like online who are saying, "Oh, of course I'm proud of like the Soviet states. Of course I'm proud of the USSR. Of course I'm proud about these things." Well, I mean, then you're not actually proud, are you? Right? Because if you're really proud, you would actually go out and do something. You would actually go out and, help out poor people or actually make a workers' union more stronger or something like that. But I don't see any of that. I don't see actual pride. What I see instead is a lot of complaining and nihilism. These people are just completely disenfranchised from everything, and they don't want to do anything. They just want to lay there and die. And what's the funniest thing is that people who are in poorer conditions than them, they will a lot of times they will actually do a lot more than them. Okay, a lot more people, like a lot of these like lefties. Okay, they're like suburban, middle to upper class people who are incredibly privileged to be in the positions that they are in. And the reason why they found leftism in the first place is because they had life so easy to the point where they're trying to find purpose in life, right? I think that's part of the problem. Meanwhile, you have like poor people who are entirely motivated to improve the family conditions, to improve the conditions of their community, who are actually going out and doing praxis, but they do not like present themselves as a lefty. They present themselves as a hardcore liberal who voted for Biden and shit. I'm sorry, it's just, I'm sorry, but the real people who are doing praxis, okay, the real people who you consider to be doing praxis are not lefties. They're all liberals, all right? They're all liberals who just want a better life for their children, okay? Like, that's it. That's literally it. Yeah. Maybe if you have like this rich communist that could use his money to the cause. Yeah, like, dude, the thing is, you know what's so funny is that a lot of these people, like, unironically, they could just like, they have they have so much power, and you know what's so sad is that they have so much power, and they don't use it. They don't use any of this power that they have, right? Um, I don't know, like, I don't know. It's just like really disappointing to see, Like at least if I were to talk about them like some kind of, actual political force, maybe there's something to talk about. But, how it comes off is that they grew up rich, they were spoiled, they lost meaning in life, and they found leftism as a way to socialize with other people online because they're really lonely in real life. And then in the end, they resort to, I don't know, like, I don't know, they just resort to arguing on Discord servers, because that's all they do. Meanwhile, look at me, right? Like, I have volunteered for people who get out there to vote to help people win like elections and campaigns for progressive candidates, right? And none of like I'm sorry, but like none of the people that I talk to typically are like hardcore lefties, all right? Like most of them are like very mild lefties at the most left, and the vast majority of them complain about organizations like the DSA. They complain about socialists who don't do anything because all they do is complain and criticize their own organization that actually does something, right? How could you criticize from a position that you don't that you espouse to represent, but don't do any actions to actually do, right? Like you don't actually do anything. Yeah, it's some of the most entitled, like pathetic shit ever, dude. It's like, yeah, it's just, yeah, it is what it is.
Diplomatic community together. Its description said humanitarian aid organizers responding to humanitarian crises in the Middle East, including Gaza, were invited. So again, I really don't know what kind of quote unquote intel this guy had over this area, but it looks like he just went up to the entrance and this couple was outside and he's just shot them. So that's pretty crazy. That's pretty. I don't know why that's supposed to help Palestine, but
good question.
I have heard from some people, at least, kicking around. I have heard that attacking
black moms in these communities are like super organizers.
the quote-unquote propagandists and weapon companies and politicians and Hasbroids behind this genocide. I have heard that people like that have direct physical access. Yeah, the people in the West have direct physical access to those people, and protesting is not enough and need to escalate. And I wonder, wow, that's crazy. What could that possibly mean? Have you seen Hasan reacting to it yet? No. No, I have not. But I'm sure we will. We'll see all of the reactions. Don't worry. This is the ADL talking about it on CNN.
Yes, right now is the CEO and National Director of the Anti-Defamation League, Jonathan Greenblatt. Jonathan, thank you for being here. But, I mean, what do you do with this? It is just horrific.
Look, first of all, I think all of our hearts break for the young couple who was killed, for everyone in the Washington, D.C. community. I mean, think about it. These people, their only...
Why is this 360p? Well done, ADL.
Only offense was going to the Jewish museum. They were killed because they attended a Jewish event. I mean, I gotta say, Kate, in many ways, this was inevitable. I mean, think about the data. We've talked about it before. ADL systematically tracks anti-Semitic incidents. We have seen a historic rise. 5 out of the last 6 years, we've reached record numbers. And look, 6 weeks ago, a man firebombed the governor's mansion in Philadelphia, in Harris.
There's a chilling video from the girl from 8 years ago talking about anti-Semitism. Well, send me a link. Links in Discord. Discord.gg/Lonerbox. Go into stream suggestions.
Bro, I am hungry now. Dude. Sorry, I'm just like, look, how I feel from day to day is just like so fucking sporadic, okay? I can either be extremely depressed, extremely happy, or I can be like really hungry or really full, okay? It's just like...
and send me the stuff there.
Yeah.
This is something about the event, just to double check.
It's over.
Biggest event of the year, bringing together Jewish young professionals in the diplomatic community. We're excited to introduce this year's theme, Turning Pain into Purpose.
More burritos,
Hear
right.
from members of the Multi-Faith Alliance and Israel Aid. They delve into humanitarian diplomacy and how a coalition of organizations from the region and for the region are working together in response for humanitarian crises throughout the Middle East and North Africa region. Wow. Business attire. Hey.
Harrisburg, and tried to kill Josh Shapiro and his family. And that was 6 weeks ago, 6 months ago.
If the fault is the perpetrators, why does Box blame the war on Hamas? That is the most brain-dead thing I've ever heard in my chat in my life. That's like saying that you would blame... Responding to an attacker is not the same as responding to something that's happening on the other side of the world by attacking someone loosely associated on your side of the world. Do you understand that? So attacking Muslims in New Zealand because you're upset about what ISIS is doing, that's not quite the same as responding to a de facto state military that is invading you, that's tried to attack you. How do you think these are analogous, you idiot?
Yeah.
That is what I said, you... What do you think I'm missing here? I'm saying that...
I am a Mongoloid. That is what I am. I'm sorry.
Because Israel is doing things over in Gaza, that doesn't mean you should take it out on people who are barely loosely connected in America. That's not the same as responding to an attack. directly on you. So
Dude, okay, because of the ways that Palestinians are suffering in Gaza, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go out and punch the nearest Jewish person. Okay, I'm gonna walk up to my synagogue, all right, and do some praxis. Okay, see, this is what we call praxis. All right, is punching Jewish people. All right, that Jew. All right, dude, listen. 70% of the time, they're like ultra Zionist. Okay, so and they've had like at least one thought, that is very sympathetic to Israel at some point. So, that gives me the full right to go up to the local synagogue and punch a Jewish person and say, "Free, free Palestine." You know, that's praxis, right? That's what these people mean when they say practice. No, I thought she was black. I am black. I'm black Han Chinese. No, I'm black Han Chinese Taiwanese. Okay.
for example, the Nazis invade the Soviet Union. The Soviet Union responds. I don't blame the Soviet Union for their counterattacks against the Nazis because the Nazis invaded them. I would blame someone if there were, I do blame, for example, Stalin.
Okay, now me because I'm an ex-Muslim. They'll teach those. True. Okay. Congrats on escaping your cult, by the way.
For taking all the ethnic Germans in Russia and deporting them to Siberia because they were unrelated. A lot of them didn't even speak German. He just saw them as a potential fifth column and sent them all the way to Siberia. Do you see the difference there? I don't blame the Soviets for their attacks against the Nazis because they were attacked. I do blame the Soviets for taking out some of their action on their local ethnic German population and sending them to Siberia.
You know what's so hard is that I really want to hate all religions, but then when I think of Jewish people, I'm like, but they're kind of base though. I feel like, but they're kind of base though, aren't they?
Siberia, the Volga Germans. Do you understand?
It's really
Or
hard.
are you actually just like a 12 IQ, desperate for a god?
It's hard for me. It's hard for me to dislike Jewish people.
Sure.
All right.
FBI detained a man with explosives in his car in Gainesville, Florida. He was going to head down to the AIPAC office to murder people. I mean, look, this happened just a few blocks
I
from
get you changed your goalpost now. What was my original goalpost? You moron. What was my original goalpost? How is that contradict? You're trolling. Okay, you're trolling. Go have a nap. Take a 24-hour nap. Bye-bye.
the U.S. Capitol. I mean, this is terrifying, and it's just got to stop.
I mean, what does it, you talk about the record number of incidents and you put out this report, it's the highest number of anti-Semitic incidents.
I have a Jewish friend. We used to play in a band together. Yeah, what happened to him? Did you kill him? You anti-Semitic freak. I'm kidding. I love you, okay?
That you guys have seen since, in what is it, the 46 years that ADL has even been tracking anti-Semitic incidents. But are they also becoming more violent? I mean, two people are dead this morning.
That's a great point. So yes, they are becoming more violent. We've seen a rise in harassment and vandalism, but it's the violence that it almost seems inevitable, Kate. Like, look, I'm angry today. I'm angry because we have been saying this. You know, when people scream lies or protesters about the Jewish people or the Jewish state, accuse us of being Zionists and committing genocide, these lies.
I think that proselytism makes religion a very different thing. I'm not entirely sure what that means. Okay, you need to stop using lefty terms. Okay, okay.
Lies have consequences, and repeating them and normalizing them. Those who tell us that anti-Zionism is a legitimate political ideology, it's not. Those who say that chanting intifada revolution is legitimate, it's not. And so when you call for violence, we shouldn't be surprised when violence actually ensues. And now we've lost two beautiful young people as a result, and it's a tragedy for the whole country.
There is a question if there was any security failure, if this person was on anyone's radar.
Their chicks are hot. Jewish women are some of the hottest chicks, okay? One of the biggest crushes that I ever had in college was a Jewish woman, okay? God, she is so pretty.
That I don't think is yet to know unless you've heard anything.
Well,
but what do you I mean, have you heard anything?
Well, look, the ADL Center on Extremism monitors extremist groups.
Oh, proselytism is when religion wants to spread? Okay.
like the Party of
Oh, okay.
Socialism
I
and
got you.
Liberation, or PSL, that this man was associated with. He was
Now, as far as I know, this person met with this group like a couple of times in 2017, if even that. But I don't think he has. I don't think he's had any close association with them since.
I like black girls and Asian girls more. Oh, so you're into Filipino women.
The PSL also condemned the attack. The socialist organization that this guy did something with, like in 2017. The PSL
What? I'm just saying.
actually, from all I can see, didn't do this whole like, oh, Zionism is making the place unsafe. Like they didn't do any
Don't
of that
call
shit.
me
They
out
just
like that. Oh, dude. Listen. My fucking radar is pinpoint accurate, okay? All right? You give me what you like, okay? I know exactly what group of people you're into, okay?
said
It's
that
easy
they
peasy.
condemned the attack. So they seem to be actually
Okay, now you gotta donate money. I'm kidding.
fairly okay in response to this, but who knows? That's all. I only saw one post, so I could be wrong.
was associated with another, that is an anti-capitalist, anti-Western, and anti-Zionist group which regularly employs anti-Semitic rhetoric. So we know PSL. And look, there are extremists on all sides. The fringes seem to be.
Like, these people live on the very phrase of sanity, right? Like, people like Hasan, they live on the very phrase of ambiguity, right? They live on the very essence of how do you say it? Like, it's the gray zone, right? Where you can neither confirm nor deny whether or not they're anti-Semitic, and so then they will always claim to be not anti-Semitic, but in reality they are. So yeah, like I mean, these people, like they know what they're doing, okay? They know what they're doing whenever they go about acting weird, acting like saying the same exact anti-Semitic tropes but applying them to um like Zionists, right? Yeah, plausible deniability, exactly. And you know what's the funniest part? The funniest part is that um if you really want to be pro-Palestinian, if you really want to be anti-Zionist, the best, most pragmatic thing you can do is to be sympathetic to the Jewish plight, right? Is to be sympathetic to the Jewish plight and to be anti-bombing at the same time, right? Is to be somebody who recognizes the wrongs of both peoples, to recognize that both people have done a lot of bad things. And really recognition is where it starts. Only with recognition can there come reconciliation, right? Because for the Rwandan genocide, after the Rwandan genocide happened, after the horrors of it, what happened is that the new ruler essentially held community meetings all the time. Like, I'm pretty sure weekly or all the time, they held community meetings in order for people to talk about their grievances with the other community. He would gather both of these two groups of people together, the genocider and the people who were going to be completely genocided. He gathered them together in order to reconcile and heal. And to me, it's just so much more hopeful. There's so much more of a hopeful message behind that, right? There's so much more of a just everything is just so much better when you're attempting to heal people rather than destroy, rather than be the most destructive person that you can possibly be. It's good, right? You have to be more like Nelson Mandela and less like Hasan, right? Only thing that's sad about that country is that the government now really consolidated power. That's understandable because I don't know, dude. It's just I don't know. Rwanda is always just going to be a clusterfuck. Okay.
Incredibly empowered today. But all of us need to call it out.
At the same time, obviously better than having a complete genocide. But for some reason, the way plausible deniability sounds phonetically, sounds sexual, tickles me a bit. I'm ESL, FYI. What? Nigga, what?
out. I'm thinking about the New York Times doing a gauzy profile a few weeks ago of this gamer, Hasan who regularly employs awful genocidal rhetoric against Jewish people in the Jewish state. Like, extremists should not be empowered.
First they came for the gamers. Then they came for the Jews, okay?
People who spout prejudice should not be platformed.
Here they come. Here comes the partnering allegations. Ooh.
This is a moment when we need to look ourselves in the mirror and say, we've got to stop this because the consequences are deadly.
Because the reality is security is already heightened at Jewish institutions, synagogues, all over the place. If you go into a synagogue, you're going through a magnetometer and you're walking past police, which we always thank them for their time. How much more secure are all these Jewish institutions going to have to get? But
think about that. Last year we had more than 1,700 incidents at Jewish institutions, Kate. More than 1,700.
Not a gamer.
Every Jewish institution has metal detectors, bulletproof glass, like police presence. It's not normal. We shouldn't normalize it. We've got to do something before it gets even worse.
And it's horrible today because 2 people are dead. Jonathan, thank you for your time. Thanks for coming on this morning. Sarah.
These goddamn gamers. Unbelievable. Do you think that's why Hasan's radicalized? Did video games make him violent?
I still can't believe national media refer to Hasan as a gamer. Well, you know, is he not? Didn't he play Assassin's Creed Shadows? To be fair, okay, I think gamer is probably one of the best ways to describe Hasan, okay? Because he does nothing for activism other than game, all right? Like, to compare him to a gamer gator is extremely accurate, is it not? It's very prudent. A gamer gator who is somebody who is also racist, anti-Semitic, hates women, plays video games, virtue signals on stream. See, you're not even sure if I'm describing Hasan or I'm describing a gamer gator at this point, right? Isn't it kind of funny how, you know, now you can apply to both? Oh, interesting, isn't it? It's almost as if Hasan really embodies the spirit of Gamergate, but with a lefty paint, right?
Oh, shit. This is the shooter's Twitter account. I'm guessing it's been archived a million times. This is his Twitter account. He also posted, I guess, like a little manifesto. Is this the one? I don't think this is the one that no, there's more
He and Asmongold should kiss. I think they should smooch.
than one. This is, there's another one that was posted on Clipperstein's Substack. A surgeon who treated the victims. No, wait, this isn't the full thing, is it? It's called Escalate for Gaza. Where have I heard that word before? Escalate. Let's see what he said here. Is this the manifesto? Hang on. This is part 2. Why did he put part 2 like that? Give me the Clipperstein. Yeah, this is apparently the manifesto. He says it's 900 words. I thought I saw 900 pages. I was like, why is it so short? Okay. Halantar is a word that means something like thunder or lightning. In the wake of an act, people look for a text to fix its meaning.
Dude, not the slam poetry manifesto, dude. I swear to God, you can do slam poetry without killing people. Whenever somebody makes a manifesto like this, like they always take the opportunity to really show the artistic side, you know? With all these people throughout history who are like art school dropouts who do like really bad things, you know, you would think that, you know, they would have just like went back to school and just completed their creative writing degree. But no, they gotta go out and kill some people. Like some of these people, like really, if you really want to show off your artistic side, you know, Tumblr exists, all right? Like it has tons of lefty people. You don't, like, you're not, whatever, man. Like, you don't have to go out and actually kill people, dude. Like, if you really want to show off your artistic side, all right?
So here's an attempt. The atrocities committed by Israelis against Palestine defy description and defy quantification. Instead of reading descriptions, mostly we watch them unfold on video, sometimes live. After a few months of rapidly mounting death tolls, Israel had obliterated the capacity to even continue counting the dead, which had served its genocide well. At the time of writing, the Gaza Health Ministry records 53,000 killed by traumatic force, at least 10,000 lie under the rubble, and who knows how many thousands more dead of preventable disease, hunger, with tens of thousands now at risk of imminent famine due to the Israeli blockade. all enabled by Western and Arab government complicity. The Gaza Information Office includes the 10,000 under the rubble with the dead in their own count. In news reports, there have been those 10,000 under the rubble for months now, despite continual making of more rubble and repeated bombing of rubble again and again, and the bombing of tents amid the rubble. Like the Yemen death toll, which had been frozen at some few thousand for years under Saudi, UK, US bombardment before being belatedly revealed to stand at 500k dead. Was it 500? When was it 500k in Yemen? Okay. I think it was like a few hundred thousand. I don't know if it was 500,000. Okay. All those figures are almost surely a criminal undercount. I have no trouble believing the estimates that put the toll at 100,000 or more. More have been murdered since March of this year than in Protective Edge and Cast Lead put together. What more at this point can one say about the proportion of...
So you're gonna avenge all these people? Dude, honestly, like, this person can probably do more just by joining Hamas, okay? Unironically, all right? If you're really so sympathetic to Hamas to the point where you're gonna go out and like kill two people and ruin your life over it, why not ruin your life in a way that you actually believe in? Like, why not just like move, like smuggle yourself into Gaza and join Hamas, right? Just why not at this point? It's just like, why do you always have to hurt innocent people? Okay, I mean, like, you can hurt innocent people in whatever, man. All right, I mean, both are hurting innocent people, so you know, fuck.
Of mangled and burned and exploded human beings whom are children. Who let this happen will never deserve the Palestinians' forgiveness. They've let us know as much. An armed action is not a necessarily...
Yeah, but like, forgiveness is where it has to happen, you know? There can be no peace without reconciliation. There has to be a reconciliation of ideals without war.
A military action. It usually is not. Usually it is theatre and spectacle, a quality it shares with many unarmed actions. Non-violent protest in the opening weeks of the genocide seemed to signal some sort of turning point. Never before had so many tens of thousands joined the Palestinians in the streets across the West. Never before had so many American politicians been forced to concede that, rhetorically at least, the Palestinians were human beings too. But thus far, the rhetoric has not amounted to much. The Israelis themselves boast about their own shock at the free hand the Americans have given them to exterminate the Palestinians. Public opinion has shifted against the genocidal apartheid state.
Ironically, October 7th was the state-size equivalent of this shooting. Yep. I mean, with how these people glorify October 7th, like, I'm not really surprised, am I? Right? Like, you take a look at October 7th, and these people literally glorify that shit. Like they don't denounce it or anything. They deny the mass rapes. They will celebrate on like out on the streets, right, about it, on October 8th. Unironically, okay, October 7th wasn't just about the killing, all right? October 7th was also about the mask off for a lot of these people.
And the American government has simply shrugged they'll do without public opinion and then criminalize it where they can, suffocated with bland reassurances that they're doing all they can to restrain Israel where it cannot criminalize protest outright. Aaron Bushnell and others sacrificed themselves in the hopes of stopping the massacre, and the state works to make us feel their sacrifice was made in vain, that there is no hope in escalating for Gaza and no point in bringing the war home. We can't let them succeed. Their sacrifices were not made in vain. Mate, I don't know about this dude, but Bushnell literally supported October 7th. He was on Reddit, like, supporting it when it happened. He was justifying it. He's not sad that Palestinians are dying. He's sad that Hamas didn't win. The impunity that representatives of our government feel at abetting this slaughter should be revealed as an illusion, then. The impunity we see is the worst for those of us in immediate proximity to the genocide heirs. A surgeon who treated victims of the Mayan genocide by the Guatemalan state recounts an instance in which he was operating on a patient who'd been critically injured during a massacre when suddenly armed gunmen entered the room and shot the patient to death on his operating table, laughing as they killed him. The physician said the worst part was seeing the soldiers, well known to him, openly swagger down local streets in the years after. You found some of his stuff, which is more insane than Bushnell. Okay. Which thread is this? On Discord? Is it in Mina happenings? Oh, this one. Okay. There's a lot here. He was a true in honor. Okay. All right, we'll see that. Elsewhere, a man of conscience once attempted to throw Robert McNamara off of a Martha's Vineyard-bound ferry into the sea, incensed at the same impunity and arrogance he saw in that butcher of Vietnam as he sat in the ferry's lounge laughing with friends. The man took issue with McNamara's very posture, telling you, "My history is fine and I can be slumped over a bar like this with my good friend Ralph here and you'll have to lump it." The man did not succeed in heaving McNamara off a catwalk into the water. The former Secretary of State managed to cling onto the railing and clamber back to his feet, but the assailant explicated the value of the attempt by saying, "Well, I got him outside, just the two of us, and suddenly his history wasn't so fine, was it?" A word about the morality of armed demonstration. Those of us against the genocide take satisfaction in arguing that the perpetrators and abettors have forfeited their humanity. Jesus. I sympathize with this viewpoint and understand its value in soothing the psyche, which cannot bear to accept the atrocities it witnesses, even mediated through the screen. But inhumanity has long since shown itself to be shockingly common, mundane, prosaically human. A perpetrator may then be a loving parent, a filial child, a generous and charitable friend, an amiable stranger, capable of moral strength at times when it suits him, and sometimes even when it does not, and yet be a monster all the same. Humanity doesn't exempt.
I like how this person literally just says that, you know what, children are also fair game. Kids are also fair game, all right? This is genocidal rhetoric. Like, if you really want to talk about genocide, this is genocidal rhetoric. Children, which are typically viewed as less morally culpable than adults, who have less autonomy than adults, who are raised, these people have less moral culpability, yet you're still assigning to them the same culpability as a mass murderer. In that case, you're genocidal. You're saying we have to kill them and all future generations, right? Because they will grow up to be murderers. So we have to kill everyone. This is genocide.
One from accountability. The action would have been morally justified taken 11 years ago during Protective Edge, around the time I personally became acutely aware of our brutal conduct in Palestine. But I think to most Americans, such an action would have been illegible, would seem insane. I am glad that today, at least there are many Americans for which the action will be highly legible and, in some funny way, the only sane thing to do. Jesus Christ, man. Does he have anything about his targets or why he went to that particular place? What was his Twitter account? Kyoto Leather. This isn't him. This is just a Reddit post on TrueAnon. What am I looking for here? He has a Spotify. Okay. What's this? I don't know. This has nothing to do with him. I think some people on Twitter who have interacted with him are trying to get in touch with the New York Times. Halali Hospital tweets. Let's see. Why not include voices of hospital staff who have said Israel called them to warn that they would bomb them in the days prior? Why present skepticism of flimsy lies by the IDF? Okay. As a Green reporter for the Trib, you have an opportunity to make a stand for real honest reporting early in your career as a world historic moment. By peddling misinformation distributed by a genocidal regime, you are falling short of that moment. Reverse course, save your soul. The fucking righteousness is so fucking mental, man. Like, the self-righteousness is just disgusting.
I think it's safe to say that Twitch is a pipeline to radicalization. Isn't Hasan Piker like a front page person? Like, don't they show Hasan the front page until he got like too controversial, and they really toned down like the amount that they showed Hasan the front page or something? Somebody can double check for me, but yeah. Like,
for someone who just seems to, even that little manifesto was just like such a limited engagement with the topic as well. We've changed, maybe for worse, but that crocodile has to die. What? Sorry isn't real, but this baby in Chicago says free Palestine, and what she says goes. Okay, slightly insane, but okay. JVP, wonderful. Happy New Year, death to Israel, okay. Death to America, very Axis, okay. I agree with the public opinion that says to kill him. Yeah, very, typical 20th century communism, just kill fucking everyone. Yeah, okay. Knife, pig, Israel. Oh, wow. The pig butchering invasion has begun. Okay. In the words of Syed Nasrallah, why should we forget our names and remember theirs? Why are their names?
Oh, right. Hasan defends this guy. Okay. Right. Okay.
Names while we are numbers. In captivity, they are names while we are 9,000, 10,000. In cemeteries, we are numbers and they're okay. I will personally never humanize a Zionist by mentioning their names or posting their photos. If only. If you're weak, the world will not acknowledge you, nor will it protect you, nor will it defend you, nor will it cry for you. What will protect you is your power, courage, fists, your weapons, your missiles. Bro, you're dead. You died. Your pagers blew up, and then you died. Sulfur is archiving his tweets. Okay. Zionism, progressive tweeps. As much as I love delving into the day's discourse, can we please save the
Rest in peace, bozo.
idealistic and high-minded debate over the morality of sending a truck bomb into the offices of the United States until after we send a truck bomb into the office? What the fuck? Don't blame me. I voted for Hamas.
What?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so the guy's got a very violent thoughts going on there. Okay. Zay Squirrel tweet. Absolutely insane. Let's go. Yaron Lichinsky was not even Jewish. He was a crazed Christian Zionist freak who volunteered to serve in the Israeli rape army and then did propaganda for them at the embassy. This makes calling him an anti-Semitic attack doubly deranged and actually the height of anti-Semitism by conflating Israel and non-Jewish Israelis with all Jews. And of course, the entire media and political class is doing it with utter glee so they can... Where was the event that he went to? He went to the Capitol Jewish Museum to an event hosted by the American Jewish Committee. Bro, do you think he actually like selected these people? Do you think he gathered fucking intel on these people? Like, these guys are like nobodies. He actually went to serve in the IDF. He does have a Jewish dad as well, by the way. And did he convert? Did he convert or no? He was following the organization on Twitter. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I know he targeted the event, but these two individuals in particular? Because the event seems like a pretty inoffensive event, no? A networking event where they talk about aid and humanitarian diplomacy and multi-faith alliances.
Like, what do you think they were talking about when, like, they're discussing aid, okay? It sounds like it was a pro-Palestinian event. That's what it sounded like, no? Like, I'm pretty sure, like, when they're discussing aid, they're not talking about discussing aid to Israel. I don't think they're discussing aid to Israel, right? Because it's so funny to me that they might actually be very pro-Palestinian, but they want to do pro-Palestinian work in a much more amicable, pragmatic way by being diplomats to Israel, right? They want to train to be diplomats to Israel or whatever reason. So it's kind of funny to me that, you know, they just killed some of their own, right? But it's not like, gosh, these people are like so anti-Palestine, dude. Like Hasan and his crowd and all these lefties are very anti-Palestine. They're not pro-Palestinian. They're pro-death. Okay.
What are we talking about? Unless we know that he targeted the individuals, because these people were walking outside. And of course, the entire media and political class is doing it with utter glee so they can launder genocidal Zionist propaganda. Okay, dude. Okay. As a Christian myself in 2021, okay. Is it okay to kill him? Per Zionist Western media and political class standards, it is not only okay, but praiseworthy. Holy shit! Zay Squirrel with the mask off. Holy shit.
Oh shit.
Okay. But Jews should definitely feel safe in the diaspora. I mean, wow. Wow. Okay. The Hasan subreddit.
Like, I'll probably say, like, this person was influenced by Z Squirrel more than they were influenced by Hasan, no? Otherwise, they would be retweeting Hasan. But it doesn't really matter either way because Z Squirrel and Hasan, like, they're just buddy-buddy in bed with each other.
It's been quite interesting right now. I don't know if I need to archive some of their posts because holy shit. Please remember that Reddit does not allow the celebration of violence in any way, and of course, someone is reporting almost every comment in here, even though they do not break the content policy, and yes, I will be reporting them for report abuse. So just be aware that your comment will be reported and evaluated by an AI. This AI was implemented before it was ready because of Musk's complaints, so please appeal, okay? It is perfectly fine for you to not give a fuck though, and to talk about how they should have expected this. That is not the same as saying they deserve it. From a mod, why should they have expected this, man? Is it okay to fucking murder like the kneecap guys for saying up Hezbollah? Like, what the fuck? Because I would say no. I would say if you want to support Hamas and Hezbollah in the United States, you have a First Amendment right to do that. Okay. They should have expected this. These people are fucking disgusting, man. Do you see this as an endorsement? Of course it's a fucking endorsement. For some of them, it's an open endorsement. What we got in the tabloids, what are the tabloids saying?
But like I'm not Mr. False Flag at all, but like every single thing that he did in the aftermath of the shooting
Oh no, not this one, dude.
is so fucking crazy that it's like you could not have fucking designed a incident like this. You could not have designed a better false flag incident like this. I'm not saying it is a false flag incident at all. I'm not saying that. I think this is just a one dude who is genuine
Holy shit.
in his actions and maybe, you know, a little bit brain broken. Okay.
Okay. Sure, bro. Ethan Klein on Instagram this morning. As you watch, Hasan fans and Twitter leftists celebrate the murder of 2 innocent Israelis.
I still don't get how this could be seen as a false flag. I don't know, to make the Palestinian people look bad. I don't know, dude. Like they will. It's just like how January 6th apologists will say that, you know, the CIA was like the government planted like instigators in the crowd in order to cause January 6th to happen, right? It's the same exact kind of rhetoric.
Understand that me and Ela are just as valid targets to them. I've known this as people like Hasan and Idabs lecture me about hallucinating threats. I knew this the moment I landed Leftovers. Why would I want to be a member of that community that would literally cheer on my death? There's a toxic, violent, nihilistic extremism brewing on the left, and it should scare all of us.
I think like
Okay, Mayor.
Foodshops, I just got an advertisement for a hotel chain in the Middle East on your YouTube. Thanks, dude. I'm pro capitalist.
Larry, I know that you're like the same person who keeps making new accounts because you talk in exactly the same way.
I think people are calling it a false flag because he turned himself into the police afterwards, still grasping at straws though. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, I understand that a bit more than. Yes, it's still retarded, but at least okay. I see.
Saying Lonerbox won't talk about the 29 Palestinians who starved to death in the last few days, according to Reuters. How many fucking times on my stream have I spoken about the aid plan that Israel's doing and the blockage and how fucking horrible it is and how they deserve like every fucking response that they're getting from the European Union right now for not resuming aid, actually? How many fucking times have I told you that? Just because I'm not responding to every single chatter and their personal story that they want to talk about. Holy fuck.
think like this will never happen, but in a totally just world, any kind of, regardless of your background, any kind of fucking Zionist tendency should be treated in the same way as being a fucking rabid neo-Nazi. And you shouldn't even let someone be the fucking local dog catcher as Felix was posting if they've ever exhibited any sort of like positive feelings about the state of Israel. I'm so serious about this. Bernie Sanders is just he has this like old labor Zionist framework, I think, that is just utterly ridiculous, and that is something that he hasn't been able to shake away.
And if there is something that you should preach, it's that these people are ultimately fucking useless, and you're gonna have to do shit yourself.
You know what's so dumb about the whole situation that Ludwig defended Ian over the whole Creator Clash 3 situation, and he's the person who claims to have a journalistic degree? I'm just gonna repeat what I saw somewhere else as well. I think Ludwig is a person who is like a very much normie, regular guy who got caught up in this like friend bias thing. The reason why he supports Hasan and Hasan's side so much is because it's just they're just friends, and that's why. I mean, obviously it's not an excuse for him, you know. But yeah, he has completely given up his spying for it, right? Like a lot of people just don't really have that much of a moral code in the first place. Like they will claim to have morals, but they will just do according to vibes and relationships. And I think that's Ludwig. Yeah.
Yeah,
So what does that look like?
Here's the thing.
Ludwig isn't normal. He's a rich guy that had everything handed to him. Okay, I'm not like, listen. All right, just saying personality-wise, okay?
I
Heard of
I
Mario's
understand.
brother?
What?
Sorry, go ahead, Hasan.
No, I understand.
Also, I just want to say, like, It is pathetic how he is in fact Hasan's little dog. He's like Hasan's little hound. Okay, if Hasan tells him to sit down and sit down to receive head pats, I think Ludwig would obediently do that. I think if Hasan unironically said to him on stream in front of his viewers, say, Ludwig, kneel for me, I think Ludwig would unironically like start like gaping his mouth open for Hasan, right? Yeah. He doesn't want the drama that comes with shitting on Hasan. Yeah, but like, I mean, I kind of get it because he has no winners, or he can't win from this either, right? Because he's already viewed disfavorably by H3 and Destiny, right? So he can't garner the support of that crowd. So I think he wants to stay out of everything, but like at the same time, then people are gonna judge you for actually, I don't know, like defending other people, right? I don't
Saying
know.
that
Cute. Totally normal to do that.
Ludwig has another option to shut up. Yeah, sometimes shutting up doesn't even work. I bet like Hasan told him to make a video like that.
On YouTube, guys.
People living in the West have
Whoa.
the most power over anyone else in the world to stop the genocide. We are living in the belly of the beast. We have direct geographical, physical access to the politicians, the propagandists, the weapons.
This would have been white. This would have been white forever had I not caught this. Oh God. Well done, guys. Well done.
Companies and the supply chains that are facilitating this genocide. Protesting is great. We should keep doing that. But also, I feel like we have to be honest with ourselves. 17 months in, and what is protesting actually accomplished? Raising awareness, sure. Divestment, yeah, in some places. But really, politically, materially, nothing. Israel just killed the most children in its history in a single night with
Would you suspect there might be blackmailing going on behind the scenes? We have Ludwig. I wouldn't say blackmail, but it's more like the fear. It's the fear that Hasan is gonna out all of your shit if you dare go against him. Like, okay, you need to think of Hasan like a mafia boss, okay? You need to think of him as like a mafia boss, all right? Like the reason, like a mafia boss would send his goons to rape your sister if you ever exited the mafia, all right? Because the mafia knows where you live, knows where all your friends live, right? Like it's kind of the same, Like, Ludwig's entire friend group is based around these people. I'm sure at some point he has thought of how bad Hasan is. I'm sure he's not like stupid enough to go like, yeah, Hasan is always good all the time, right? But at the same time, it's like obviously, you can't deny it. You can't really deny the fact that I don't know, Hasan could actually fuck over his entire life and his job and everything. His entire career, right, would go down the drain if he ever defied Hasan. So, obviously, whatever. Remember Cheeseball Gate? I kind of remember that, yes. I mean, Leg was also in the same group as friends with Valkyrie and Pokimane and others. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. All of these guys are kind of the same. Hasan can just lie and his cult will follow suit. Look what happened with Ethan. And Hasan, he doesn't just lie. He blatantly lies. Like, he's very like, it's out in the open, right? It's like the thing with Trump. As long as you do it out in the open, nobody will care, right? I'll give an example. So, the one time, when Hasan was talking about, who was he talking about? Oh, the Palestinian dude, that went onto H3's show, right? Do you guys remember that? The Palestinian guy, he said that he wanted people to donate to his organization, but that's not true. The Palestinian guy literally said on the show specifically to go and donate to the World like Food Bank organization thing. It was not his organization. So it's a direct contradiction of what Hasan said. It doesn't even match up, right? It doesn't even match up, and yet Hasan still slandered this poor guy, right? And for what? And for what? This guy's a Palestinian. He lost his family to, the IDF, and I don't know, like he's just crazy. This guy is like pro-Palestinian. if he gets exiled, he doesn't have the integrity or skills to solo his YouTube career. He could probably still make it, but it's just like he just won't have as much clout as he does now, right? Like he has more than like what, over 3 million subscribers. It's actually I'm pretty sure he's actually larger than Hasan, like in terms of YouTube presence. Right?
Total impunity with a deafening silence among the Western media. If we want this genocide to stop, it's time to escalate. That's all I'm saying. People living in the West have the most.
That's all I'm saying.
Smart move on not covering current events, by the way.
Hey, where'd you get that clip from? Hey.
Smart move on not covering current events, by the way. You mean specific current events or in general? Because, yeah, I think 2 pro-peace Jews dead. Read what they were saying. Pro-peace is crazy.
What was she saying? Do we know? Do we know anything that she said? Does anyone have anything that she was saying? He said some stuff that would obviously make these guys fucking furious because, like, what's this? WAPO. What do I need to... What? What am I doing? What? Does Noah know? No, he probably just glanced the fucking Z-Squirrel thread. Not that it fucking matters, mate. You can't just kill people because of what they're saying. They were embassy employees, exiting the museum. Possible hate crime, terrorist. What am I doing with this article? Is there anything new here? The guy is called Elias Rodriguez. Is it Elias or Elias? I think it's Elias, right? Pacing back and forth outside the museum before the incident. After allegedly shooting the couple, he entered the museum where he was detained by security, she said. Police initially said at the news conference that Rodriguez was 30, but later confirmed he is 31. Wow. Okay, he's 31, guys. Fuck. It's interesting that, like, you know how people say that 40 beheaded babies was the pretext? 40 beheaded babies was the pretext for genocide? Couldn't you just say, couldn't you, and I'm not going to do this because I don't give a fuck, but like, because it's not really accurate. Like, they would have done exactly what they were doing had, like, no one under 18 been killed. But okay, it's not really how wars and Costa's belly works. But when people say 40 beheaded babies was the
I know, 31. Isn't that crazy? Hasan and co feel like they embolden just to railroad anybody that they want at any time, at any place, because of people like the 6 streamers and content creators live in fear. I wouldn't make it that extreme, but I get your
pretext
point,
for genocide. Couldn't you also say that the UN's claims are, it wasn't even the UN, the media's claims of 14,000 babies are going to die in 2 days? Isn't that like pretext for people doing crazy shit like this, if you believe that logic? Police believe the suspect targeted the event, but had not singled out any individual before arriving at the scene, according to a person familiar with the investigation who spoke on the condition of anonymity because they were not authorized to speak publicly. He just got whoever came out at that moment. Oh, so he randomly went for them. Okay. Yeah, he did not give a fuck. I mean, it's kind of obvious, right? Because
Wasn't Hasan like 31 like 15 years ago? Also, have you seen his head? It's so skinny. I think it's interesting for somebody who is like pushing 50.
There's no way these two would be your prime targets. Unless, it's interesting because in the online sphere, I wouldn't be surprised if a terrorist didn't actually go after a Kahanist or a settler, but rather they just went for someone who was like a social democratic, like opposes the settlers and the West Bank expansion and wants 2 states, but also hates Hamas and thinks some of the military action by the IDF is justified. I think they'd probably go for someone like that because that's the people that they talk about the most.
I mean, in the end, isn't that who they targeted, right? In a way? Like, yeah, I mean, like, I'm sure they weren't thinking about things, you know, when they were targeting him. But yeah, I mean, unhinged, right?
I think the settlers and the Kahanists are just kind of like, they're off scot-free.
I need to have there needs to be a psychologist who needs to examine his behavior. No. Hasan's a really simple creature, okay? He's one-track mind. All right, he just wants more clout. He wants more attention. You know. Content creators who later on go on to become people who killed other people, like there are content creators out there who have killed other people. Like actually killed, like shot and kill people. Typically, like even in their last moments, they're still thinking about clout. They're still thinking about like fame and fortune and stuff. So.
From a lot of these types. So far then.
Even last minute.
So far it looks like he didn't actually single out any individual. Okay. Horrific details reveal Elias Rodriguez's continued shooting Sarah Milgram as she tried to crawl away, executing her in cold blood. Where's this from? Where's this document from? MPD officers were able to review surveillance video from immediately before and during the shooting that captured the exterior of the museum. In summary, the video shows a slim-built person wearing a blue jacket with a hood, large dark-colored backpack, blue pants, and light-colored shoes, consistent with the clothing worn by Rodriguez, walking across F Street Northwest in the direction of the museum and where the descendants were standing, preparing to enter the crosswalk. Once Rodriguez walked past the descendants and the two witnesses, he turned to face their backs and brandished a firearm from the area of his waistband. Rodriguez is captured on the video, extending both his arms in the direction of the decadents and firing. It's not hang on. Fuck me. Give me pronunciation.
Decedent.
Decedent. Oh, because they're dead. Jesus Christ. Of the decedents and firing several times, not the decadents. Jesus. He turned to face their backs and brandished a firearm from the area of his waistband. He's captured on the video, extending both his arms in the direction of the decedents and firing several times, as indicated by the muzzle flashes. Once the decedents fell to the ground, Rodriguez is captured on the video, advancing closer to the decedents, leaning over them with his arm extended and firing several more times. As decedent 1 attempted to crawl away from Rodriguez, he followed behind her and fired again. After a brief moment, Rodriguez appeared to reload his firearm. At the same time, decedent 1 sat up. Once he reloaded, Rodriguez fired several times at decedent 1. Jesus fucking Christ, man. Holy shit. That guy really wanted her to die. Apparently this is her talking, Sarah Milgram. Apparently this is her talking 8 years ago about anti-Semitism. Is it? Wait.
Because walking creates zero emissions.
Excuse me.
Because bicycles don't have
What the actual
tailpipes.
fuck?
Because sharing a ride
Why
cuts
is it?
your emissions in half.
What's it doing?
Carpool, bus, bike, or walk.
What? Hang on.
Sarah's a wonderful girl, and she was as close to perfect as any human could be. She had a passion for learning, she had a passion for the environment, and she had a passion for Israel. And she was recently very much in love with Yaron.
Tell me about that relationship.
They met soon after Sarah began work at the embassy, at the Israeli embassy. She started in November, right after the October 7th war broke out in 2023. They met fairly on and dated, and their relationship grew, and they made each other very happy. We've spent, Nancy, my wife, and I, Sarah's mom and I, have spent a lot of time with Yaron, and we grew to love him also. And they were perfect for each other. And this Sunday, they were to fly to Israel so that Sarah could meet Yaron's family and parents and family. And
what happened to the shooter? He was arrested.
We assumed that the relationship was very serious, and we assumed there would be marriage sometime, but we did not know that Yaron had bought her an engagement ring.
Okay. She talks here. This is her from 8 years ago, right?
And anti-Semitism discovered in Johnson County.
It's so ignorant that you would bring up a symbol like that brings so much pain to a lot of people.
And tonight, students believe a heated rivalry is what may have led to this hateful graffiti.
New at 10, 41 Action News reporter Lexi Suter filed this report as she talked to students earlier tonight.
Oh, this area, okay.
It's so ignorant that you would bring up a symbol like that brings so much pain to.
And they couldn't even, like, dude, these people, they couldn't even graffiti the fucking swastika correctly. Like what the fuck? Like, dude. They can't like these people can't even graffiti the swastika correct. Dude, Jesus.
a lot of people, and it's not okay.
This is the first time senior Sarah Milgram has felt unsafe at school.
You know, I worry about going to my synagogue, and now I have to worry about safety at school, and that shouldn't be a thing.
Oh shit,
the district is investigating the vandalism and has narrowed down 8 to 10 students who could face criminal consequences. Friday marked the end of a 4-week community service competition between Shawnee Mission East and Shawnee Mission South. Students believe the ongoing rivalry triggered the hateful messages.
I think the rivalry is ridiculous. Yeah, we were raising money and supplies. We were like competing with each other to sort of have a positive thing come from the rivalry.
These words and pictures have since been cleaned up, but the hurt felt by many cannot be washed away.
I hope that they learn their lesson, and I hope they learn to be more tolerable people and nicer people.
Lexi Suter, 41 Action News.
Wow, that's quite insane. Apparently, she was involved in a group called Tech to Peace, a group that brought together Israelis and Palestinians in the tech industry. Apparently, she was warm, compassionate, committed to peace building, and passionate about society.
Yikes, dude. Again, all right, again, Hasan and co, like these people, they're anti-Palestine, all right? They're not actually pro-peace.
Sustainability and people-to-people relations. Read what they said. Read what they said. What? Okay. The fuck did she say?
Why is it always wealthy kids, though? Never blue-collar people? What do you mean? What do you mean? You mean like the shooters, or do you mean like the victims? I mean, like, both of them are kind of wealthy.
Say, dude. What the actual fuck did she say?
I mean, they don't have time to commit a shooting, dude. Like, poor people don't have time to commit a shooting unless they're like robbing people. They have people to feed. Like,
I'm tired, boss. Very tired. Wow. I thought Ethan Klein was just imagining it.
Also, if you're poor and you're going out and, you know, you're actually interacting with people, you tend to be a little bit more grounded in reality. Oh, like the tech girl? Well, I mean, that's you kind of expect that, no? Like, do you think it's like the poorest people who would become like the leader of a tech club where you rally people around, right? Usually you can probably expect somebody to be a little bit wealthier who has time to actually participate in these extracurricular activities, right? You know, there's kind of like a sampling bias that's going on.
So the fact that they were Israeli embassy workers as well wouldn't be relevant in the slightest, because that event wasn't just for embassy workers.
Not poor, just stable, sure.
Was it? They just happened to be embassy workers. He had no fucking idea who he was targeting, as far as we know. Hasan tells his audience to lock in and stop Fed posting. Bro, you did this, Hasan. If you are upset by the way that your audience is behaving, this is what you did. This is you reaping everything that you fucking sow. What are you talking about? You don't get to say Zionism is Nazism. Zionists are Nazis. Everyone who I perceive to be a Zionist is Nazi. Everyone who's like fucking center-left, supports a two-state solution, thinks it's a genocide, thinks settlers are military targets, is still a Zionist to me, and is still a Nazi to me, is still racist to me. Nothing works. Protesting doesn't work. Funding shit doesn't work. Nothing works. Just... but what did we do in the past? Oh, well, you know, Mandela was a terrorist, same way Hamas are terrorists. And, you know, the only way we've ever achieved anything in history was through apparently randomly fucking killing people with the loosest connection to the thing that...
You know, randomly killing people. I wonder, like, what association that has, right? Randomly killing Jewish people. You know, that kind of reminds me of a certain, event in history. Okay.
We're angry about. And you...
It's on the tip of my tongue, right?
Act surprised when your audience just is less fucking media savvy than you when they talk about reacting to these things, even though you give them every single stage that builds up to this logical conclusion. You give them everything. They're just following you to the logical conclusion. The fact that you don't, and it's really jarring for you, like, that's on you. That's your fault.
Chatter, are you crazy? Chatter goes, yo, use this as your blast off meme. No, I'm not gonna do.
The event you told me was quite systemic, not random. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's... Oh, okay. I was thinking of Crystal Knock, but yeah. I mean, I was not thinking of the Holocaust. I was thinking of Crystal Knock, but yeah.
Do that, okay? Missed therapy appointments, so now I have to pay extra, and we're here. What is this? You about to be arrested? For what? Having a fucking fat cock? Don't think that's illegal. You about...
Wow.
True. All right. Osama bin Ballin blast off. Can you get through the news before 3 p.m. when I see the new Mission Impossible streamer, man? No. Should I use Tyrese Halliban? Should I do that? I don't. No, dude, I can't. Yeah, I'm not going to use this, dude. Y'all are so stupid. Give me. Okay, guys.
It's like.
Wait, what is he talking
Not
about?
even like he's against it. He's just against it for optical reasons. That's it.
Yep.
Like he likes it. Like he would do it in a room without windows, but okay.
This is not like
he's basically being like, "Don't do this because people are watching." It's so fucking. It's so insane.
A time to be fucking. It's not a time for you to say fun, wild, edgy things. Okay, there are probably 1,000 people in the chat currently documenting every single thing that you guys are saying in an effort to basically tie it back to me and this community and rob it of its content.
So it's not wrong. Again, it's like not wrong because a killing happened. It's wrong because it makes me look bad.
Context or anything like that.
Rob it of its context. Okay.
And to try to get me fucking deplatformed. Like lock in. Stop Fed posting.
I can't believe you would go out and do this. I can't believe that, this person would go and kill 2 people to make me look bad. All right. Why would they do this?
It's not time for memes. Just because you're anonymous doesn't mean you will stay anonymous. All this stuff. Okay?
He's literally just saying like, "Don't do this because people are watching." You're such a fucking evil person. Oh my god, he's actually so disgusting, man. He doesn't care. He doesn't care about as what? So if no one was watching, if no one was there to clip you, like it would be okay for people to celebrate that? Holy shit! He's literally just telling them to mask on. Did we see Voss's reaction? No. Response to the ADL call out. Israel is an apartheid state doing a live streamed genocide. Wow. I think it's wrong and dangerous to conflate these heinous actions with Jews. He's so fucking retarded, man. Again, if you believe that, then you have to also logically believe that Jews do this to themselves, because most Jews do feel some kind of connection to Israel. Most Jews in America would identify with Zionists or would identify with positions that would get you calling them a Zionist. So the Apartheid Defense League doesn't, because they think they can improve Israel's standing by silencing its critics. It won't change the truth. Wow. Dan thinks he was a Twitch user. Is this true? I would like to see evidence of a claim so strong. Doxing, Kanye.
See, officer, all the terabytes of child porn on my hard drives is blatantly out of context. Don't you know that having terabytes of child porn is anti-Islamic? All right, don't you know that accusing me of that is anti-Islamic? Are you saying that every single Arab person has terabytes of child porn? Okay.
Kanye's done with anti-Semitism. Well done. The shooter is a Will Stansel hater. Who is that? Don't know who that is. Hang on, let me see. Okay. Hasan having an "I could shoot someone on 5th Avenue and they'd still love me" moment. Kind of, yeah. Kind of. This is the video of it. Of him getting caught.
No. Free Palestine! Free!
God, just look at this cringe lord, dude. He's so cringe. Look at how cringy he is. Oh my god. It's like a tubby little emo stay-at-home, like champagne socialist. Fucking, he's even doing the chant. He thinks he's a hero. He thinks he's like doing the good thing. Oh my god.
Free Palestine!
He totally waited until he saw a camera on him. Yeah, it's all about attention at the end of the day, because these guys are like sad loser incels.
Free Palestine!
And this is after he's just fucking murdered 2 people. Wow.
Oh, in Cold Blood too, right? Because one of them was crawling away and he went up to them to unload the rest of the clip on them, right? Very nice. Awesome. Good stuff.
Bro,
just completely merciless, okay? It's like the most merciless thing you can ever do. It's just you don't just shoot people. You're like going up to them to make sure they're dead.
Logic that these guys are using. These fucking
It's literally an execution.
apologists is like, does that mean that the next time a Palestinian gets hate crimed, people can blame him for associating this act of terror with Palestine. Do you understand how fucking stupid that is? Anyway. Someone said from Hamas. I know, eh? This is the thing. This is the FBI's affidavit. All right, I guess I'll read this. Criminal complaint.
Okay, that's enough. Okay, this video is really, really long, so you know we can't like watch all of it. It's just really long.